Okay, so last time we reached ayah number 20, and as a summarization, so we were talking about the people of Al-Kahf, the people of the cave, and they were a good people. That's why from Allah let them, they were going to avoid their community because there was a day that they used to worship idols, and they were running away from them because anyone would not worship these idols, they will be punished or executed or so on. So they decided to go into the cave, and at that Allah made them sleep for more than 300 years, and then Allah allowed them to go back. So when they wake up, they will start to ask him, like, did we stay 1 day or 2 days? How long? They said, okay, it's no problem. Let's go and eat, or send someone to find us something to eat. Okay? But again, they were like trying to be very careful because if they saw them again, they would come, they would kill them, or they would stone them. Okay, so they were very careful, like sending someone to buy them some food or so on, because they still thought that it was only 1 day or 2 days maximum. Okay, then Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وكذلك أعثرنا عليهم ليعلموا أن وعد الله حق وأن الساعة لا ريب فيها إذ يتنازعون بينهم أمرهم. Okay, so when they sent someone to find them some food to eat, how did the people know that they are the good boys that they were running at that time before 300 years or more? Actually, they figured it out when they tried to buy something. They noticed the currency that they were using. It was a very old currency. So when the guy who's trying to sell them things, or they get the food from them, they told them, like, from where did you get this currency? So he said, like, it's our normal currency. He said, no, this one was like since over 300 years ago. And then from that, they know that this is the ayah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And actually, what happened through these 300 years is their people, the people of the, let's say, the village or the city, they became believers after these 300 years. Some of them, they said that Allah has sent them a prophet. He didn't mention which prophet, but he sent them a prophet. Then they became a believers, and now the story of the boys who were running at that day became a famous story that they all talk about. So when they saw or figured it out that they were sleeping as one of the Allah's ayahs or the miracles of Allah, they know that, okay, they were the true ayahs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as a proof that Allah can revive the dead people, and there is an afterlife after we die, all of us. So here, subhanallah, Allah is saying that we brought them so people can find them, so they would know that the promise of Allah, that the Sa'ah, or the life after, the day of judgment, there is no doubt in it. Like, even if you are thinking, like, okay, after I dead, maybe nothing will happen. There is no judgment day, or there is no, I will not be accounted for whatever I did. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make the story of these boys as a proof that as He was able to create us, He also can revive us again from death. And this is what's gonna happen later on. So Allah gave this story for the people at that time to make them more believe in the life after, as a proof. And this is why Allah given us these ayahs and these miracles, because even if we are believing in God, but there is certain things we don't see. We need this proof. The human mind need this type of evidence to be able to have a stronger belief in Allah and in the life after. So, subhanAllah, this was one of the ayahs that Allah chose them for. And with a short amount of time, They were dead after they found them. They were dead. So here, what did they see? What did they say? فقالوا ابنوا عليهم بنيانا ربهم أعلم بهم قال الذين غلبوا على أمرهم لنتخذن عليهم مسجدا. So here they found out, yeah, they figured out that they were the good people who were like a famous story, and they start to appreciate them. And then they said, okay, at that time, if he is a good man or a good believer, they usually build something as an honoring for this person. But we know that this is a not good thing, because after many years, maybe people will start to think that this person who were like a very good person or close to God, then people will start to worship this person instead of God, or doing shirk with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or feeling like because he's a good person or a good worshipper, then we will get closer to Allah through this person. And this is shirk. So unfortunately, it's not a good thing, but they used to do it at that time. So here they said Allah is having better knowledge about them. And then they were like saying, okay, maybe we can make a masjid, which is like a mosque toward them, which people can also worship God around them. Again, this is not a good thing, because years will come and people will end up like worshiping them as an idol. Then in the next ayah, Allah saying, سيقولون ثلاثة رابعهم كلبهم ويقولون خمسة سادسهم كلبهم رجما بالغيب. So here, Allah is saying they're gonna say, these peoples might be three, the fourth one is their dog, and they will say five, and the sixth one is their dog. رجما بالغيب. رجما بالغيب is like guessing in the dark, like they don't know exactly how many of them. Allah only knows how many of them. And they're mentioning the dog because we mentioned that the dog was the one who were protecting from anyone to enter the cave. He was leading. So he was part also of the miracle of the ayah, subhanahu wa ta'ala. ويقولون سبعة وثامنهم كلبهم قل ربي أعلم بعدتهم ما يعلمهم إلا قليل. Then they're gonna say seven, and the eighth one is their dog. So here Allah is saying, or for the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, say that Allah knows how many of them. No one knows until a small number of people. Okay? So here Allah is saying that it's not the important thing is to know how many of them were in the cave, or how many of these young men. This is not important. The important is the behind message of it. Why Allah make it as an ayah? Why Allah have to put them to sleep for more than 300 years? This is the more important thing, not how many of them, or how did they look, or what did they have. This is not important. And subhanAllah, when we think about it, sometimes in life, we get caught up in a conversation or an argument which is actually not benefiting anyone. And or focusing on details that is not important. And there is a story that happened earlier. There was a people they have a project or an idea of a company that would benefit lots of people, and they decided to not to do it anymore, because they were like they disagree on the color of the project or the product they're gonna do. Because of that, everything was failed. So subhanAllah, Allah is telling, don't focus on the unimportant details, and focus on the main purpose of anything you do. The number of them does not matter, and it will not have any effect on whatever wisdom you're going to take from it. Okay? Then Allah is saying, فلا تمار فيهم إلا مراء ظاهرا ولا تستفتي فيهم منهم أحدا. So here Allah is telling Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, فلا تماري. Tumari is again same as an argument. Okay? Don't argue with them unless if it's something known. Mira'an ظاهرة. It's something like known. or something beneficial, let's say, ظاهرة, okay, out of knowledge, not out of just arguing and for no reason or without knowledge. ولا تستفتي فيهم منهم أحدا, okay, and do not consult anyone of them, okay. So here is something very interesting to pay attention to, is that if you don't have enough knowledge on the subject you're talking about, you don't need to participate in a conversation about it. And sometimes, even if you know, let's say you have lots of knowledge about this certain topic, but maybe the people you are talking with is in the different level of knowledge or different level of awareness. So it's pointless. So sometimes you feel like you are given all your energy and you want to have this conversation, but you will end up just for nothing, for arguing, and there is no benefit of it because the other person have a different level of knowledge or awareness or understanding than you. Or maybe you are the one who doesn't have the enough knowledge about the topic. So here Allah is saying, don't talk about things you don't know, or don't argue for just talking without a behind meaning or a good solid knowledge. Okay. ولا تستفتي فيهم منهم أحدا, and do not consult someone who are not have who's not worthy to consult. So subhanallah, there is another ayah Allah is talking about is فاسألوا أهل الذكر إن كنتم لا تعلمون. Ask the people of dhikr if you don't know. So Allah is telling us, if you have a situation or you feel that you need the opinion of someone else, you need to consult someone else in any type of matters you have in your life, go and consult the people you believe that they have a better knowledge than you, that you believe for at least a small percentage that they might benefit you, or maybe they have a prior experience in it. But do not go and consult people, anyone, just for just talking, because eventually they might give you a bad advice and you might take it, and when you take it you will go downhill. So it's very important to know who you consult, to know who you ask for advice, you ask for help in certain type of subjects. So here subhanallah, when Allah said أهل الذكر is the people who are like specialized in something. So if you want to build a new business project, go and consult someone who have experience in business. You want to do a new, you want to cook certain meal, go and consult someone who cooked already this meal and expert in cooking. So ask the people who are specialized in this subject. أهل الذكر, they أهل is like the people of, like they are more aware or they have experience in it. Do not just ask anyone about everything in your life in general. Choose who you ask because they have a big effect on you, in your decision, in your opinions. They will definitely have. So be careful because you definitely have an influence on you. So subhanallah, this is one of the things that Allah is teaching us, and we read it every week and Friday. It's again, Allah is trying to give us these ayahs or these reminders each week for us to use in our life, in our lifestyle, something to remember, because sometimes we forget. Sometimes we might go through something or a situation, but we need something to remind us to focus. If you have a struggling, don't consult anyone, consult the people who's worthy to consult, and so on. Okay, so again, there is another thing where I want to say regarding the story of the people. Subhanallah, this is one of the things that we can learn from the story of the young men from the people of the cave. They went to the cave afraid They were young men. Allah saying fityatun. Okay, so it means a young man. They were afraid and they choose to believe in God, in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even with all the struggle and all of the risk behind it. And they just decided to go and hide. And then after 300 years or more, see how they became very important symbol of Islam or of a belief in general. So subhanallah, sometimes when you do stuff, you might see it as a very small thing in your eyes, but eventually, subhanallah, you never know how Allah put the effect of it through so many generations after you and many years after you. So when you do a good deed, even when you see it, maybe it's a very small, it's nothing, no one would remember it. But when you have a good intention and you're seeking Allah guidance and you do it for Allah, you never know what is the after effects that gonna happen of it, the butterfly effect that gonna lead after whatever you did. So after long time, their story were one of the symbols of a strong believers that help their community or the people out there to believe more in God and believe in the life after, as one of the ayahs. And this is the thing that we're trying to do in our life. We are here as a Khalifa, as a representative, that we need to do something that lasts and help whether our brothers and sisters, whether our all Muslims, anything that can last, maybe, like sadaqatun jariyah, you do good deed, or maybe ilmun nafi' ينتفع به, which is like a good education or knowledge you spread to someone, or information that after you did, it's gonna last. And this is the influence we need to focus about. What type of influence or legacy I would like to leave after I go from this dunya? What type of legacy I want to benefit people after me while I'm living, and it will continue? What type of positive effect I leave when the people around me or in my life in general? We're not here just to work, have an education, and finish, and just doing the checklist of a person in in certain community. You need to think bigger in the bigger picture. You're here as a Khalifa, as a worshipper of Allah. What do we need to do? What can you do with the knowledge you have, or even any type of skill maybe you have? What is the available things that you can do now that will have a lasting positive effect or benefit the people after you? Try to think about these type of things, and this is the thing that you need to focus on, and this is should be part of your purpose and message in life, because eventually we're all gonna die. All of us have a certain amount of years left. How can I stay alive even after I get dead? Is by the things I leave, the things I remember, though, the people who how they gonna remember me, what type of information I might say it to one friend, and this information benefit him for like the 50 years later on. Everything counts. Everything you do counts. But when you focus and pay attention, okay, this is the important thing I need to do. This is the things you need to do. It's good to collect money, to have a good job, to do all of these. But think what I'm leaving behind me. What type of things I need to pay more attention and put all my focus on. Because no one of us know when they're gonna die. No one of us know when the time of judgment will come. So I believe that this is the most important thing that we need to focus on. Our legacy, or the effect, positive effect we leave or we do in this life. Okay? And this is again, like we read the Surah of Al-Kahf every week. Again, Allah's trying to give us these wisdoms and these advices for us to keep and remember that eventually this life is gonna end and there is a life after. Everything is gonna end. You never know when it's gonna end. So it's a reminder not to get attached to dunya, not to focus all your attention on dunya and getting occupied by it and forgetting to do the good deeds for the life after, which is the life that's not gonna end. The life that you're gonna live there eventually, there is no ending, but this dunya has an ending. So again, this is a reminder that it's all temporary. This dunya is gonna finish one day, and the life after is the one that's gonna last. Okay. But then there are other ayah Allah is saying, وَلَا تَقُولَنَّ لِشَيْءٍ إِنِّي فَاعِلٌ ذَلِكَ غَدًا. And don't say to anyone or to anything that I will do that tomorrow, إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ, until, and without adding, God willing. Okay. واذكر ربك إذا نسيت وقل عسى أن يهديني ربي لأقرب من هذا رشدا. So, and the reason of why is this ayah was revealed to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu. So, again, we mentioned the beginning of the story that Jewish at that time, they come and ask Prophet Muhammad sallallahu three questions about the people of Kahf and about the other the story of the man, the Khidr, and the other story. So he, as a proof to see if he's really the prophet or not. Okay, so after he finished telling them the story of the people of the cave, after Allah revealed it to him as a proof of he is being the true prophet. So they told him, okay, what is the next stories about the things that we told you? And the revelation was delayed. The revelation of Quran or sending the story was delayed, okay, at that time. And this was a proof that he's not making all of these. He's waiting for Allah to send him, reveal to him the Quran, which have the stories of these people was mentioned in Tawrat and so on. And then he told him. So they said it was delayed for 15 years or so on, for 15 days, or so on. So they said that the Prophet forget to say inshallah or by God's willing. So Allah here is telling him, don't say to anything that you're gonna do it tomorrow until you say inshallah or by God's willing. Okay? And this is also something we use as Muslim. Like we always say inshallah, like tomorrow I will do this and this, inshallah, tomorrow, or so on. But unfortunately, recently, we start to use it in a more negative way. So now sometimes if you say inshallah, like people will think, yeah, I know you're not gonna do it. We know that inshallah is like something, just say inshallah. It's like, it's not gonna happen. And astaghfirullah, this is not a good thing because we're using this phrase of Allah. Allah is mentioning us or telling us to do this or to say this sentence because anything is not within our hands. The qadar is not in our hands. We never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Maybe I'll wake up, maybe not. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe there's something else is going to stop me. So it's always a reminder for us that it's by Allah's willing. Everything I want to do is by Allah's willing. If He allow me to do this, it's going to happen. If He didn't allow me to do it, it's not going to happen. So it's important to not use it very loosely or slightly or in a more negative a heading meaning of saying like, yeah, inshallah, yeah, I will do this, inshallah. And unfortunately, it happened. Like lots of people, even the foreigners who are not Muslims, they start to see, like, understand. Yeah, if you said inshallah, we know that you're not going to do it. And astaghfirullah, it became like a very bad reflection. So what we can do is like try to be able to commit to it and say it in a more, we say it always in whatever things that we're going to do in the future. But be sure that if we couldn't do it, not to say it in a more negative way of something is not going to happen. We just say like, I might not be able to do it, but inshallah, if I can, I will do. Or you can just be honest and said, I cannot, or I will not do it. And not use this word, inshallah, by God's willing, in a negative way. Okay? طيب. واذكر ربك إذا نسيت وقل عسى أن يهديني ربي لأقرب من هذا رشدا. Allah's telling His Prophet is to do dhikr, to mention or remember His role, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you forget, and say, may Allah guide me to get more closer to do the right thing. So rashada, as we mentioned before, is not only the good thing, but like taking the better decision, the better way. You know, rashada is like not only doing good, like doing better than good. Okay, so this is again a nice dua you can use. عسى أن يهديني ربي لأقرب من هذا رشدا. May Allah guide me to a better solution, or a better, how can I act, or how can I say, may Allah guide me to the better things. Okay. And Allah here is saying, do dhikr when you forget. Okay. And why is that? There is many other ayahs Allah is mentioning that one of the reasons we forget is actually because of shaitan. And I'm going to mention the ayahs that has been mentioned. So there is one ayah, Allah is saying, وَإِمَّا يُنْسِيَنَّكَ الشَّيْطَانِ. And then the other ayah, وَمَا أَنْسَانِيهُ إِلَّا الشَّيْطَانُ وَأَنْ أَذْكُرَهُ. There is an ayah gonna come later on in the story when Al-Khidr, when he forget the fish, and then he said, Shaitan made me forget it. So in Quran, there's lots of ayahs combining forgetting someone from Shaitan. So Shaitan tend to make us forget certain things. How we solve it? By remembering Allah, by saying dhikr of Allah. At that time, Shaitan will go away and will be able to remember. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is giving us the guidelines. Whenever you forget something, always do isti'adha, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, or do dhikr, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, any type of dhikr, or the other meaning of dhikr, which is remembering Allah. Okay? And it will help you to remember. So this is like a cheat code for students who go through exams. Anyone want to remember something he lost or any type of thing, do dhikr and do isti'adha of shaitan, because shaitan is probably the reason is making you forget something. Okay? وَلَبِثُوا فِي كَهْفِهِمْ 300 سِنِينَ وَازْدَادُوا 9. So here Allah is telling how many years they stay. He said they stay in the cave for 300 years and more added for 9 years. So why do you think Allah is saying there's more 9 years? Why He didn't say like 309 years or something? So there is a couple of saying or interpretation. They said a difference of the how they counted the years at that time. So there is like the moon years or the sun years. I don't know exactly in English what they say, like how they count the years. There's different calendars. So at that time, to be able to, because He's talking to people at that time, this is the type of knowledge they have. So Allah trying to communicate with them with the same level of their education at that time. So again, He's telling them that they stay there for 309 years. قُلِ اللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ بِمَا لَبِثُوا. Say that Allah knows how long they stay. لَهُ غَيْبُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. He have the knowledge of the unknown or the hidden things. غَيْبُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. In the heavens or the skies and the earth. أَبْصِرْ بِهِ وَأَسْمَعْ. Okay? So أبصر from the basira, البصر, who sees. Okay? And how He hears is like an order. In Arabic, أبصر وأسمع, it's like, tell about His ability of seeing everything, till about his maximum ability of hearing everything. Like he is the all hearing, the all seeing, above everything. He has the all knowledge. ما لهم من دونه من ولي ولا يشرك في حكمه أحدا. So they don't have beside him someone to be wali. Wali as like a protector or someone in charge or responsible of you. ولا يشرك في حكمه أحدا. And no one can combine whatever his judgment. Okay? في حكمه أحدا. So حكمه is his ruler, like ruling something. No one can be with him as a god or be combined him with his being the ruler of the whole universe and the creator of the whole universe. سبحانه وتعالى. واتل ما أوحي إليك من كتاب ربك لا مبدل لكلماته ولن تجد من دونه ملتحدا. So here Allah is telling Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, itlu, say or read or recite whatever has been revealed to you from your Lord's book or the book that He sent. لا مبدل لكلماته. No one gonna change his word. And subhanAllah, this is one of the signs why the Quran is so reserved for within these years. And Allah promised or said that it's not gonna be changed because it's the last book, the last revelation. That's why it's gonna keep, no one can change it. لا مبدل لكلماته ولن تجد من دونه ملتحدا. And you will not find any refugee or except with him. So multahada is again in Arabic, in original Arabic, it's like the lahd. Lahd, to get it a closer meaning, if you see a grave before, like how they bury Muslims in general, so they don't bury them in the same grave. There is a chamber inside of it, in the inside of the grave, and here's where they put the dead person or the court, and then they close it. Lahada. So it's like a shelter or somewhere protected. Okay? So here Allah is saying you will not find anyone else that can give you this shelter or this protection except of Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? Multahida also, lahd is something getting closer, like something very attached. Okay? So this is again is something that whatever you have a problem, whatever you have an issue, and you think maybe my friend can help me, maybe this person, maybe the king can help me, the lure, someone like important in a place. Okay, it's good to ask for help, but don't forget that the main protector or shelter, the main one who is there to give you anything you want, above of all the help that you can get from his other believers or worshippers, you need to keep in mind that Allah is above of these all. That you seek Allah first, you seek the help and the shelter and the protection and the answers you want to look for first from Allah. Then you can use the other benefit of or ask other people for help or advice or so on. Okay? Then Allah is saying, again, this is another advice or advice that Allah has given Prophet and given us as we are reading this Quran till today. And subhanAllah, you know, and when we talk about the legacy that these boys of the cave, they left, till now we are reading it every week. So imagine their legacy, and we're learning from their patience. We're learning from, even if someone is so difficult, all your people, you're against all your people, but you connected to God and with your belief and trusted God that's gonna save you, and you took this decision, and subhanallah, Allah turned it into ayah, and then Allah wrote it or revealed it in Quran, and now till day millions of people reading it in Quran and benefiting from this one act you did. So subhanallah, again, see the positive effect you can leave in a certain, in maybe a small thing you can do. You don't see the after effect of it, but see how big Allah turned it to be. Okay. واصبر نفسك مع الذين يدعون ربهم بالغداة والعشي يريدون وجهه. Allah is saying, be patient, okay, with the people who's worshipping or praying their God, okay, in the morning and evening, seeking His approval, okay, or seeking. So here, Allah is saying, يريدون وجهه. Wajah is the face, okay. So it's a metaphor that I'm seeking His face. I'm seeking like His satisfaction, or He being satisfied upon me. So I'm doing this for His face. Okay, so it's a metaphor. So here Allah is saying, seek patience from within you by surrounding yourself with the people, with the believers who are close to Allah, who always worship and pray in the morning and evening just for one purpose, which is Allah, not the dunya, not for other purpose, not for other motivation. They only want the satisfaction of Allah. So, subhanallah, when I think about it, it really shows us, or maybe like Allah trying to send a message in this one. It's very important to choose wisely your friend or the people you hang out with. It's either help you to get more closer to God, or will help you to go away or follow your desires and doing sense and so on. And this is what Allah mentioned later on. Allah is saying, وَلَا تَعْدُ عَيْنَاكَ عَنْهُمْ. Okay? وَلَا تَعْدُ عَيْنَاكَ عَنْهُمْ تُرِيدُ زِينَةَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Okay? وَلَا تُطِعْ مَنْ أَغْفَلْنَا قَلْبَهُ عَنْ ذِكْرِنَا وَاتَّبَعَ هَوَاهُ وَكَانَ أَمْرُهُ فُرُطًا. Is that وَلَا تَعْدُ عَيْنَاك is like, don't extend your eyes or like extend your desire to above of these people. Other people who want zinatul haya, okay? So zinatul haya is like the decoration of life, the exterior pretty or beautiful things that does not really, it's empty from inside. Okay? حياة الدنيا ولا تطع من أغفلنا قلبه عن ذكرنا, and do not obey the people who we close their heart or make their hearts not aware of doing dhikr or dua or remembering us, and he follow his desire واتبع هواه وكان أمره فرطا, and the things they do has been فرطا is like shattered, it's like a waste, like nothing order, it's like no benefit of it. So Allah is giving us the characteristic of how choosing a good friend or a good company in your life. So the people who you stay with to help you to have patience on certain type of fitna, certain type of, let's say, desires following or going into the wrong pathways. There is certain people, if you became with them who are close to God and they want to, they do things just for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will help you to be more patient on these desires and help you to get closer to God. Because any people you get surrounded with, they definitely have an effect on you. That's why Allah is telling us it's very important to choose them very wisely. Know what kind of people you surround yourself with, what kind of community you are with, what kind of friends is around you. They all have an effect on you, so choose them wisely. Choose the people who help you to get closer to Allah. And because of them, it will help you to be more patient on whatever struggles or things you face later on that it might be a little bit difficult. But they will help you because we need the community. We need to belong to a community. We need the support. When we don't have the support, whether from friends, from community, from family, whatever it is, it's so easily to go right and left to follow whatever opinion is going through. But with a good community, with a good support, we are more stable. We are more strong. We have good foundation that people can help us, support us when we about to do something wrong, when about to go and do any sense. So it's very important to choose these people. And the last telling us, don't choose or don't look over the people who choose the hayat dunya. They choose the garnish, the beauty, the things. It might be beautiful from outside, but it's gonna go away. Hayat dunya is gonna end. Focus with the people who's focusing on the life after, the important one. This hayat dunya is gonna go. This zina that Allah created, it's only temporarily. It's not gonna last. And don't follow the people who we made their hearts unaware of the things that the hidayah, the guidance that we give. And from remember us, they forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They forget how to be a believers. So don't follow these ones because you will get affected by them, even if you are a good believer. وَاتَّبَعَ هَوَاهُ, they follow their desires. And this is very important things. Like people who follow their desires, they end up destructing their life. We need to have a control over our desires. If we follow our desires, like if you want to kill someone, I feel like killing someone, you will kill him. If I want to drink or harm myself or do any type of desires, we become like animals. And this is the difference between us and animals, that we have a mind that we control our desires. And this is why we have Ramadan for fasting, to control the desire of eating and drinking and so on. We have praying 5 times a day to control our desires of just doing certain other type of things. Every thing or order Allah told us to do is to train us to control our desires. When we control our desires, we became strong. We became a stronger characteristic. We became strong human beings because we're not easy to follow our desires and go downhill. People who follow their desires like an addict, he cannot control his desires, so he keep having drug or so on. He have an addiction. Any type of addiction, it's a sign for losing control of your desire. So that's why, subhanallah, it's very important, and that's why we have halal and harams. That's why there we have this thing, the good thing, the orders, the everything, guidance that Allah given us for a reason, for our own benefit. If we look deep into it and why Allah is telling us to do this, why we pray, why we give charity, why we do fasting, and so on. Okay? وَكَانَ أَمْرُهُ فُرْطًا. And here Allah is saying that people who follow their desires, okay, everything furta is like, when you have like a necklace and it has like a pearl necklace and it's cut down and then it's fall down in the floor and all of the pearls go away in different direction. It's a similar meaning of furta. Furta in Arabic, like something has shattered away and got lost everywhere and distracted. So subhanallah, Allah has given us this metaphor of when you follow your desires, your life is gonna go into waste. Your life is gonna be a disaster. Okay? So he's given you that, the advice he's given you, and why is it good for you, and then the opposite of the advice, and why is it bad for you. And subhanallah, this is the beauty of Quran and the beauty of the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is trying to talk to our mind, trying to tell us that, okay, no, it's not about like have good friend, don't have bad friend. No, he's telling you why having good friend is good for you, why having bad friends is not good for you, and you choose. Because now he clarified everything. He told you And subhanAllah, this is like how Allah is telling us most of the things. He always tell you, do this, and then He explain why is it good for you. And then if you do the opposite thing, then why is it bad for you? Okay? Everything has a meaning behind it. Okay. وقل الحق من ربكم فمن شاء فليؤمن ومن شاء فليكفر. So now tell that this is the truth from your God. Whoever want to believe or willing to believe, and whoever want to disbelieve. Whoever want, you have the freedom of choice, whether to believe or not to believe. And this is again one of the core values of Islam is the freedom of choice. Allah will give you, if you do good deeds, you will go to heaven. If you do sins, you will go to hell. And the shaitan is your enemy. Then you have the freedom of choice to choose which way you want to go. So Allah is saying that I'm giving you the truth, the haqq from God. If anyone want to believe, He's have the willing of to believe. Okay, anyone want to disbelieve, again, everyone, we have the will for it. إنا أعتدنا للظالمين نارا أحاط بهم سرادقها. Okay, so we set up a fire. The people who do injustice. Injustice to who? To themselves. You're not, by being disbeliever or an unbeliever, you're not doing this justice to Allah. Allah doesn't need us to be believer. He doesn't get anything. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are doing a injustice for yourself because you will end up in fire or in hellfire. And this hellfire, أحاط بهم سرادقها. Okay, is surrounded with walls. Okay, so you cannot escape from it. وإن يستغيثوا يغاثوا بماء كالمهل يشوي الوجوه. And even if they are thirsty, for example, and they want to ask for water, يغاثوا بماء, the water is gonna كالمهل, it's like a molten brass, let me see, molten metal, okay, which is gonna burn out all of their faces, scalding their faces. بئس الشراب, what a terrible drink. وساءت مرتفقة, and what a painful or bad place to stay in. So again, Allah is trying to tell us the consequences of your choices. Whatever choice you're gonna take, I already told you, if you do this, this is gonna happen. If you do this, this is gonna happen. So you choose. So you will not be surprised in the life after that why I'm here. And this is subhanallah from the justice of Allah, how Allah fair, how Allah will not do injustice in anyone, because He gave you the rules, the guidelines from the beginning in the Quran. If you choose to disobey, to choose the other way, then you deserve whatever's gonna come to you. You deserve the consequences because it was all mentioned here. Okay? But so we're gonna stop at this one, or let's take the this ayah. Or let's keep it next week. It's better to keep it next week because later on the other ayah will describe the blessing or the rewards in Jannah. So let's keep it to next week for now.